Yes, hello everyone. Welcome to this IRIS webinar. My name is Zakaria Sulimana and I will be your host today together with my colleague Pierrick Delez. Today's topic will be the easy integration of IRISOCR SDK. And your speakers today will be Alejandro Grussi and Simon Poudou. Maybe Alejandro, you can introduce yourself.
Hello. Nice to meet you, everyone. So I'm an OEM sales manager at IRIS. I've been working for 15 years. I started more on the solution parts of IRIS, and then I switched more into the OEM. So, but it's a while that I'm already an OEM, so I most probably know many of you. Before giving the word to Simon, I just wanted to mention that IRIS OCR SDK, for those which are familiar with IDRS, is basically the same. It's the new marketing version of the old IDRS. And also regarding the name, ISA integration, it basically came because once I was playing with the toolkit. I'm not from any technical background, and I was able to download, integrate, and run some samples in I would say 10 minutes or even less. So I noticed in many cases people need some flexibility in its own application, but they have the impression that it will be too complicated or too hard at some. And then you will see in here today that that's not the case. So Simon, I'll let you introduce.
Yeah, thank you, Alejandro. So hello, everyone. My name is Simon, and I'm a software engineer at IRIS, and I'm working since 5 years now in the SDK team. And my goal there is to create, develop, maintain, and also test all the SDK product that we are developing at IRIS. And on top of that, I do also customer support, indirect contact, so to help our customer to integrate our technology into their application or into their project. So that is.
So the webinar will be around 30 minutes, and on the right-hand side, you can ask your questions during the webinar. And we also invite you to visit our webinar page on irisdatacapture.com/webinars, where you can replay this webinar afterwards. And also you can visit some past webinars on this page. And now I'd like to give the stage to Alejandro to start the presentation.
Yeah, here we go. So modular toolkit. So when you see this wheel here, the important part is that, well, okay, you have in the center an eye, which is the actual OCR, and you can see that that you can integrate it in several languages. You have it also in, well, you have in .NET, in C++, and most recently in C, which allow you to connect it to Java, to the Delphi, and so forth. From the platform perspective, you have, Windows, Mac and Linux, but also you have the mobile platform as iOS and Android as well. And then in this wheel, you see the whole process, and you know, from the actual image, you probably have an PDF image or any other image, and you do all the pre-processing, recognition, barcode if needed, and until the output. But in there, you will see that there's a lot of features and modules that can be integrated. The important message of this slide is that you won't pay for anything that you don't need. You will only integrate what is needed. So there's no need to charge your application with more footprint than you need. And the same goes for the commercial side. You only pay for what you need. More talking about the technology itself, which is, I'm trying to dig a little bit more on what it was before. So you have the pre-processing. The pre-processing is sort of it's a cleanup of the image. You have, you put it in the right way, this queuing. You have also some fancy, like when you take a picture with an image that the image is all distorted, you know, you can put it in the right way. You have binarization. Actually, this is a module that we give it for free, and one of the reasons that we give it for free is because we are really good on that, and the way we do our binarization and we pre-processing allows you to generate an image that is easy for the OCR to recognize. So that's why this is a module that we tend to incentive that you use it from Iris, please. OCR, well, from OCR, where now honestly we're getting really wild. We're covering so many languages. It's more than 140 languages. Of course, Europeans, of course, Cyrillic, but you know, you have Hebrew, you have Arabic, you have Farsi, you have Thai. We're currently working also on Hindi and traditional and simplified Chinese and Korean. Well, you know, you name it. There's plenty of languages there. And also something important is that you can combine several languages on the same document, which is, you know, it's quite interesting. If you take the example of Belgium, which is a country which has 3 languages as official languages, and normally English is another one, we tend to be quite good in this from that perspective. ICR stands for Intelligent Character Recognition. It's basically handwritten. It's handwritten. We cover capital letters and numbers. This module was specifically designed for giving a solution to applications that need to capture forms. It's well known in the market that when you are having that type of application, you will use several engines. You do a voting system using 3-4 different ICR engines, and certainly Iris is one of the good candidates for that type of voting. Barcode. Well, honestly, I cannot think of a barcode that we don't cover. You have all type of barcodes, but in there it's also interesting because we went a step further. So we have tested in the market several engines that are complementary to Iris. So in the sense that when some barcodes we struggle to recognize, there are some other engines that probably are better, and the opposite, where we're very good, the other ones are not that good either. So from that perspective, we have done that job basically for you, and we have created a voting system within our module of barcode. And you can, let's say, even boost more the recognition on barcodes. So I would say that 95, 98% of the cases, you will be more than enough with the Iris engine alone. But in those projects where they're very sensitive to the recognition and you need to get almost 100%, then keep in mind that we have a solution for you also from that perspective. Compression. Compression is it's something that I always incentive to test when we provide our trial version. Is open to all modules. Then you can choose whatever you want, of course. But compression it's sort of a hyper compression that it works very well on color images, which drastically drop the size, which it's particularly interesting if you have a cloud application. So of course the bandwidth will be much faster. And then formatting. Formatting is it's a way of generating the output. Yeah, you know, PDF, 4 different type of PDF. You know, we're starting to get very fancy on that. XML. What, you name it, and you know we have plenty of different outputs. It's just the way to archive your output. Let's say your image with the layer below with the information about the text, so it becomes searchable, and the font. Okay, why this slide? Well, this slide. What I wanted to stress is basically how far we're getting into the OCR perspective. So the new engine, which is based on artificial intelligence and neural networks, it's something that we would have dreamed to recognize only 3 or 4 years ago. So those texts that you see in there with the new engine are perfectly recognized. So it's quite impressive, as a matter of fact. Now, Simon, probably you can help me out with this part.
Yeah, let's tackle a bit the technical part of this presentation. So just before launching the demonstration, I want to give a word about the support that we provide. So regarding the OS, so we provide packages for the 5 main ones. So for the desktop, we have, of course, Windows, Linux, and Mac. And for the mobile, we have Android and iOS. And for those, regarding the hardware, so we also provide packages for Intel and packages for ARM. So so for example, we have a package for Windows Intel and Windows ARM, etc., etc. Then regarding the API, so we have an API in C++. Actually, the product is developed in C++, so this is why it is there. And we also have a .NET wrapper. So, for instance, the .NET wrapper is only available on Windows, but the team is actually working on providing a wrapper for Linux and Mac, and it should be available for the end of the year. And recently, we have a C API that we propose. So this was done mainly to easily bridge to the other main languages like Java, Python, etc., etc. So now I will switch the screen to show you a bit what you can expect. So actually, yeah, the IDRS toolkit is very you can do a lot of things. So I will just focus on how to quickly open the toolkit and how you can get some result quickly. So the first step, is actually to download the IDRS. So for that, you can connect on the IRIS partner portal on irisdatacapture.com/downloads, and you can find here on this page all the IRIS product that you bought.
Normally, sorry to interrupt, Shaz, I wanted to say that normally as a partner, when you have bought the SDK, you only will have one line, So basically on the platform that you have bought it and all that. So it looks that there's many things, but as a partner, you only see what you bought, so probably one line.
Yeah, and in case you have a lot of products, so you can, of course, filter by clicking on the left panel. So I selected the IDRS for Windows. So that's what I am searching for now. So I can take all the package of IDRS that I'm interested in. So I will take one of the latest version here. So as you can notice, there is a version 16 and a version 15. So actually all the version 16 is currently is the one in development, and we provide again update on the version 15. But all the new development and new features will be available on 16. So there we go. So once I get my package, I can, of course, extract it. So nothing difficult. And of course, for the other platform, like Linux, we provide a tarball, a DMG for macOS, and etc., etc. So we really keep the right compression according to the OS. So let's open the IDRS folder, and you can see there is the bin folder, which contains actually all the DLLs and also the precompiled samples to play quickly with the IDRS. The documentation, where you can find the development guide and the API ref, include a link for development. One very important is the Redis for the Redis folder, which contains Redis readable for Windows. So please make sure that those ones are installed before running an application with IDRS. And the last important one is the sample, where you can check where you can find the source code from the samples that are available in the bin folder. So you have there the VS project for Windows as well as the source code.
That's what I particularly liked it, because I saw the samples there, and then you can run it, and boom, bam, it's there.
Exactly, yeah. So so for the demo, I can just show you how to create a document from several images. So I'm now in the work folder where I can find some samples image, so you can also use them to play with the IDRS. And for example, I want to create I want to create a document, a PDF document with data images and a second page with data images. So this one is a scanned document and another a camera, and I want to make a document. Why not? This is a demo. So let's go with it. So I can run directly the CPP reader sample, which actually allows you to select images and create directly some output document, and even a PDF, docx, HTML, etc. Before that, you might have you will have a first step to do is to install the trial keys by clicking on this installer. So this will allow you to quickly place with the sample and store the key into the registry. So now I will start the sample. So it's actually a command line. So which asks me to, if I want to register with the key that are stored in the registry, I say yes. And now I want to create directly my document. So I will search for them. Do I want to add a new document? Yes, and I want to add the camera image.
In my case, when I did the integration, I didn't have anyone on my side, so I just follow up the documentation. So I just open the documentation and see the 2-3 steps that they asked me to do, which are basically those, and there you go.
Yeah, and now I'm done with the processing, and now I want to have the output document. So let's generate it. Okay, I'm done. So my document is there. So here you go. So the PDF. The goal is actually to have to reproduce the image as it is, as it was displayed. And on top of that, you can see that we added the text layer. And actually, if I want to check for some keywords, I can see Brussels have 2 occurrences here and there. And for the other one, the camera image, sorry, which was very challenging, let's say, because it has a big test, it's a little skewed. So I can also check if the text was okay. I'm searching for Delhi. And sorry for the typo, here it is. So I can find, so you can see it found in two words. So actually, you have other samples. One to play with the barcodes if you want to. You have another one which enables you to show how to extract directly the OCR result into a page. If you want to do, for example, afterwards some data extraction, and you have the fourth one which allows you to do zonal recognition. So zonal recognition is when, for example, you have a document with a standard layout and you want to check just a small designed zone. into your document. For example, it can be an address, which is always at the top left of the document, etc. So it shows how to do zonal recognition. Into the samples, actually, you have for Windows, you have in CPP and in .NET. So they are doing exactly the same. So you have, as I was saying, the Visual Studio project that enables you to compile and run directly. You have also the source code available, so you are of course free to copy into your project. You are free even to start your project from the sample. So you are really free to do whatever you want.
Perfect. Thank you. I think also what is important from this demo is the fact that in a very few steps you're able to have your own application running with the OCR integrated in it. Exactly. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. Focus on the core part of your application. Let us do the OCR. You can do it in a very simple, straightforward way. If none of the samples that we provide for you are fitting what you actually need, or your project is more specific for one reason or another, no problem. Of course, you can create it from scratch, or you can follow on the samples that we already provide, and we can help you to fine-tune it or to adapt it to your actual needs. That's what I believe is important. Okay. Let's say good market value. Some of the benefits of working with Iris that we can provide to you, let's say to customers in general, is a product that has been for more than 30 years in the market, and is widely used. For instance, I'm sure all of you have some Acrobat in your PC, and if you intend to do some OCR capability within Acrobat, you will see that it's Iris that is doing that. So this, on a worldwide scale, as the same as many other companies, this brings very big awareness and very good dimension and market value. From the R&D support perspective, I think what is important is that when we provide a trial version, we will provide also some support for you, and this support is directly done by R&D. So in the past used to be a support team this is the way that most of the market and competitors work. You have a support team, and then if the question gets too difficult, then they pass the question to R&D and R&D. In this case, we don't do any of that. We cut a step and we go directly to R&D. So you will be supported directly by the same people who create the SDK. So this is a very big advantage, actually very much pushed by the sales, and we were right. We noted we were right because we can see the difference, between before and now. Everything is much, much quicker and much faster. Okay, customer-oriented roadmap. Yeah, in this part, what we were trying to say is that we believe in the true sense of the partnership, in the sense that you are able to influence our roadmap. And we strongly believe that this is something that help us to create the best product, both for you and for us. So it's basically it's a win-win situation where you get the features that you need, and we try to cope with the needs of the market. Commercial flexibility. This is indeed one strong point, because from the commercial perspective, we're trying to understand the business model that you need, and then follow and do it in that specific way. For instance, if your application is not based on pages per month or pages per year, then what we will do is we will adapt to the model that you need. So you don't need to change anything. We will adapt and do it the way you need it. This is from all the slides, this is the one I like the most because it's recently been shared by the R&D with the sales team, and I was super happy. I was super happy to see this is done on more than 5,000 images, and R&D, of course, does it all the time. They do it towards our two main competitors and also towards our previous version. So every time that you have a new drop, this is the exercise that we do. And I'm super happy to see the results where we are outperforming in all type of languages and versions.
Yeah, sorry, Alejandro, just one word on those benchmarks.
Yeah,
so just
please.
to precise that those benchmarks are actually public. So if you want to try and to get also the result, so you are free to ask to ask us, and we provide actually the images and the way to reproduce.
Perfect. Indeed, that's very important because you want to see it yourself, no problem. Also, if you know, in many cases, people don't have that many images, so feel free to ask. We can share. And then before we have sort of our benchmark, here is the market benchmark. I don't think there's any better benchmark than the 9 months that it took to Adobe to complete their test. They wanted to have the strongest, the best solution in their product. So they've been testing every single part of the OCR, of the module of the OCR SDK. And the same goes with the other companies. So I think this is a nice ways to close, in the sense that it's not what we're saying, but this is also what the market is saying. There we go.
Yes, thank you, Alejandro, and thank you, Simon. Question time. So we've got a few questions from the audience. I will start with a question from Niels. Do you also provide a Docker image?
So actually, we don't provide the Docker image at the moment. This is something that is actually in our wish list. However, the toolkit is fully can be, of course, integrated into a Docker image. So you can do it actually by yourself if you want to. And actually, even at IRIS, we are starting to change our way of compile the product and testing the product. So we are more and more moving into a Docker environment instead of physical machines. So this is just to show that the IDRS is fully compatible with any Docker image.
Okay, thank you, Simon. Two questions that are similar, one from Benjamin and one from Tai. Is it possible to get a demo license for SDK, and do you offer any trial? So two questions for the same.
Yeah, certainly. We actually provide a fully functional, free of charge trial version. We only request to complete, some NDA and project specification, which is meant to send you exactly what we need. As we were showing before, we have several platforms, we have several business, we have a lot of specifications. So we send you these project specification documents where you can fill it in, and then we send you exactly what you need. It will be fully functional for 60 days. The limitation, it will be in time, so it's 60 days. And during that period, again, we are providing R&D support, so OEM support that is done through our platform, Jira platform, and there you go. So we will be happy to send it to you.
Okay, thanks, Alejandro. A question, a rather technical question from Niels. Is the .NET wrapper a .NET Core or another version? So I guess it's for you, Simon. Simon, you are muted, or we can't hear you.
Simon.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, so at the moment, the .NET wrapper is only available on Windows, and actually there is two .NET wrapper. There is one which is based on .NET framework, so which is compatible with from .NET framework 4.0 until the last one 4.7, and is also compatible with .NET Core starting from 3.0. And the second wrapper is .NET 5, and this wrapper .NET 5 is the one which will be available at the end of the year on Linux and Windows and macOS. Sorry.
Okay, thanks. So from a technical question to a more business question or commercial question. I noticed you work with quite big companies, but do you also make it possible for smaller companies to work with Iris? So of course, besides Adobe and Canon and the likes, do we also do business with smaller companies?
Yeah, certainly. You know what? For the sake of the presentation, we thought that it's it's more visual to show bigger companies that we work with, because everybody knows them. But we certainly work with different size of companies. Of course, there's some initial investment, but it's more than normal. It's nothing. And from that perspective, as I was saying before, we have the flexibility, both commercial. Keep in mind that 100% of the intellectual property of the SDK is developed in-house, so we have the flexibility. We don't need to, let's say, report to anyone.
Okay, cool. Thanks. Another question from Sam. You said that support is done by R&D. Do you charge for R&D support?
No, that's also a very good one. It's good because I haven't mentioned it. I mean, I stress the fact that support is done by R&D, but I haven't mentioned it that this is actually free of charge. During the test process, during the time that you're doing the test, this is completely free of charge. We don't charge for the demo, or the trial. We don't charge for the trial. We don't charge for the technical support that we provide.
Okay, thanks. Question from Tai. Do you have an OCR profile for receipts that are known too hard to capture an OCR?
So this question is for me. So no, we don't have a specific profile for receipt. However, as Alejandro mentioned into the slides, so we have actually a new technology of OCR that is very flexible and enables to work on any kind of document, as I showed in the demo with the camera. So it can be also adapted for receipt recognition.
Okay, thanks. So we have more questions, but we will answer them offline, obviously. So thank you everyone for your questions, many questions today, and thank you Alejandro and Simon. And I will give the floor to Zakaria, I guess.
Yes, of course. Yes, thank you all for attending this webinar. And the presentation of this webinar and the replay will be made available later on our website, irisdatacapture.com/webinars. And you're also invited to check out our past webinars, as said earlier. And of course, in future, we will come up with some new topics and new webinars. Have a nice day and goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you to everyone. Bye. Have a nice day.
Thank you.